Good, man. It's been really busy, man. Busy. 2023 is just I don't know, kind of chaotic a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I think this is a year for the entrepreneurs, man. I think if this is what you really love to do, you're about to find out if you really love it or if you're ready to give up because there's a lot to do right now.
You know,
There's a
I'm
lot
gonna
of going on.
capitalize on that too. So check this out. So if you're an entrepreneur, right, and if you're just getting into things, especially like just anything, this will probably be your first time into like a down market. So hold the fucking line. You know what I mean? So yep. What we got to talk about today, man?
One thing, well, one thing that I've been noticing that I want to talk about, man, is before all that, because we got some really good things, is I found that I'm actually more of an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur. So I'm going more in that route, and that's where I'm seeing where I'm starting to bloom a lot more because I'm in that realm versus entrepreneurship. So I just, there's some food for
There
thought
you go.
for some people.
Honestly, shit, I think any way to get it and to get to your goal, whenever and ever, I think it's whatever. It's good, man. So entrepreneur, like that.
All right. Yeah. Well, hey man, it's like, you fight within the system, you do those things, right? And then you got entrepreneurs that are completely different, but they both need each other, in my opinion. But on that, right? So today, when we're talking about things, we have crypto. You're a big crypto guy. And you almost like you threw out like a little bet right there, a little comment of like, hey, I can see the markets. And you were saying crypto was going to go, or Bitcoin was going to go up to what, 30K?
Yeah, I said,
right?
I call Bitcoin at 30K. And just crypto in general, like when it was down and everything like that. I had crypto, I had Bitcoin at the bottom at 14K, right? I had them at the bottom at 14K. And it got to about 15, something like that. But now this week it's like, boom, after everything is going on with the economy, I see crypto just taking a big rise, especially the big crypto. Unfortunately, one of my big leaders in the, I was a big Solano guy. I was a big Sol guy. But unfortunately, that took a turn with the FTX thing going on. So luckily, the blockchain itself wasn't connected to that. It was just they were just they were just a big funder of it. But Bitcoin right now, I see it going through the roof, man. Especially Ethereum too. Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah. So, I mean, you had it at 30. Now, what is it at today now? Because you said by today, that it would be at 30. Today's just to date it, just to date this conversation. It's March 19th. You said it's going to be 30.
I'm
What's it
going
at
to
right now?
take a look at it live right now. Last time I looked at it was at 28, So let's see how we got here. It is 28.2. So 28,200. So there it is. Man, I honestly think overnight it's just gonna, when we're sleeping, that shit's just gonna have its own mind. But we'll see. Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were saying that, crypto was to fight inflation. Now I've seen some memes saying that crypto was actually to fight banking systems, like situations, right? So that's what's kind of kicked off some of these things. So when you were seeing it at 14 and you were investing into Bitcoin and stuff like that, what were some of the remarks people were telling you about either was it good, bad, or what was it?
Naysayers saying crypto wasn't this, wasn't that. But you just had to, again, like any other thing, you got to look at the data. You got to look at what all the people who are they always tell you not to buy something, but they'd be the main ones buying it, right? And what I've learned is a game of they drive it low enough so they can dip into it. And then about time when the masses find out, it is too late. It's too late. You know what I mean? That's just how usually how it always works out. So I paid attention to the market, paid attention to the Bitcoin. This is not the first time it does this. You know what I mean? It always drops about 80%. But again, and then you start looking at people as, hey, I can buy homes. These big banks are putting patents in the crypto and stuff like that. It's crazy. The regulations and stuff.
Yeah. So you see it going up, right? And so last time it stopped at, I think before it hit its max, it was like around 60K, right?
Yeah.
So 68K. So there's potential that we could see it, that it goes up from 68K to maybe 80, 100 or something like that.
Bitcoin going six figures in a blink of an eye, right? Based on what's going on here, right? Because you got to think it's a way to it's off the grid, right? It's off the grid. And right now everything's out of control. But here's the thing that people don't understand. I want y'all to really see. This is what really solidified it for me. Bitcoin is labeled a commodity, right? It's labeled a commodity. If you look on there, it's labeled a commodity according to the U.S., right? So anything that labeled like that, that's real, you know? So, and turns out to be true.
Yep. We actually looked it up. Him and I were talking. I think we were just talking, conversating about something. And I was like, okay, let me look it up. It was a .gov. So .gov cannot be faked or any of those things. Only like the U.S. actually has control over .gov websites, by the way. So just in case that is how you know it's actually real. And it said it right there on the first page. I think it was like second page. You know, crypto is considered a commodity.
When you start looking at like, when I look at like the gold and stuff like that, you know, and all the other commodities, it's right there with them. Right next to goddamn platinum, you know, and so I'm just like, so if the commodities of gold and all that is keeping track of Bitcoin, then again, I see it as a gateway out. If everybody just use Bitcoin, we can take away a lot of things and get the power back into the people's hands.
So. So since you're big on crypto, if somebody's like sitting there saying like, man, I missed my shot, but I'm trying to get into it now, should they wait to get into it?
No, honestly, I would get into Polygon right now. Polygon, Ether, is never too late. Like you don't have to just buy a whole thing. You know, you can just chip it and chip it and chip it, you know, and when this time's right. And then before you know it, you'll have one whole one or whatever. But at the same time, if crypto's not your thing, I would say look into crypto first and see what it is, right? And how it works. In a nutshell, it's just going to be the next evolution from Visa, MasterCard and all that stuff, you know, way quicker, way lesser transactions, more power back to the person who's selling or whatever, you know, it's just, and on top of that, with the Bitcoin, nobody controls it. No entity, no country, nobody controls it. So that's a good thing.
Okay. So if somebody wants to get started in crypto, right? Like you mentioned it, like see if it is, where should they look at first?
Man, you can just Coinbase, one of the platforms, you know, you can do that. Crypto.com. I'm not a big on these platforms anymore. I say look on them, get familiar with them, and then get like a ledger or something like that. Get an off market wallet so you can hold it yourself. That's what I would do, just because we've all seen it at these exchanges. It can just crash and then your stuff is gone. You know what I mean? So it's better to hold your own assets and go from there.
Yeah. You know, crypto almost reminds me like things were in the military where it says like when something happens bad, like whenever you would mess up in the military, you'd be like, just keep your head down and work hard because somebody else is going to mess up afterward. Because there was FTX and people were like, that's it, doom and gloom. Like the crypto world was taking the biggest hit. And then now we got the banks taking a bigger hit. So it just reminds me of that kind of asset. Like, you know, don't always read.
I'll be 100 with it. I took a hit really bad on the FTX because I was holding a lot of SOL. You know what I mean? But I still think that's a really good platform as far as and it's still a major player. It's just that they got to reorganize. I see that coming back in about probably next year, like really tough. You know what I mean? Once they get reorganized, but that platform, that blockchain already has a lot of money dumped into it with a lot of activities. Like Google, for instance, was going to start using Solana they were going to start using Solana for paying and stuff like that. So a lot of things got on hold. We're talking about big money involved, you know, and in some of these projects, they just don't trash these projects, you know,